Welcome to the Author Helpers You Should Be Writing with your hosts, John P. Logston and Ben Zackheim.
And with that, this is episode 18. So we're going to be talking about a few different things today. Ben's going to be talking about the Pronoun service. We're also going to I'll be talking about using bookbub as a target on Facebook ads, and also reiterating again why tripwire pages are supremely important. So Ben, what have you been up to this week?
I'm not sure we reiterated. It might have been our last version of you should be talking. You should be talking. You should write. that we talked about the tripwire pages. But this week has been really interesting. I started the new class at School of Visual Arts in New York, and good class. It's about teach marketing, and they're taking to it pretty well. And I also have been working. I wanted to get it up yesterday. Shut up. But I wasn't quite able to. A post is what I'm talking about on the Author Helper, or I'm going to be talking about. Come on, man, we're more mature than this.
I've never said a word about any of this stuff. You're the one that constantly thinks I'm going to, and so you always say it. But
it's the writer. Yeah, I'm always like writing the dialogue before it happens. That's. Yeah. But it's an ad, a post about Twitter ads, and specifically building an audience, a custom audience, the same way Facebook has it, except on Twitter. And I'm going to go walk through. It's going to be a video tutorial that I'm walking through the ways in which you can target people with your Twitter ads, promoted tweets. So that's what I've been working on.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, it's been actually a new service that we're going to be releasing onto the world, which I'm not going to talk about just yet, but it's pretty cool.
Never end.
Yeah, it's exactly. And also, of course, last week I was up north in the offices, so I was unable to do a lot of stuff that I normally do at night because I was just too tired. Anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then in the process of writing my next book, and that's going pretty well.
Can you tell us what that is? Which book?
Sure. It's from the Ononakin series. It's actually part one of a trilogy where the original wizard from the original story and the original apprentice, at the end of the book, he becomes an apprentice. It's taking that apprentice to full wizardry over the course of 3 stories. And
cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun because
I like that.
The apprentice is actually a previous giant who was transformed in a battle, and so now he's only about 4 feet tall, and yet he's very huge. He looks like he's been stung by a bunch of bees, and giants are notoriously dumb, and he's actually still sounds it, but he's pretty wicked smart. So anyway, it's pretty fun.
I like that.
So, yeah, we're having a good time with it. So it's going to be a trilogy, and just working on the first book of it. Oh, and also, actually, that I wanted to talk about that too. So let me just do that real quick. So my wife and I told you this before. My wife and I had started working on a basically short story, like under 100 pages, stories in comedic, cozy mystery type stuff, right? And we basically decided to just give it away to our newsletter subscribers. So every time we do one, we send it out, and here you go, have fun, with it. And once we get enough of them together, we're going to, put them on Amazon and so on, and then bundle them and so on. We've gotten a heck of a great response from this. Getting
In
emails,
what way?
Getting a lot of emails from people saying, "Wow, I really am enjoying this. This is a lot of fun. Thank you for sending it." It's a great way to build trust. And to also show people that, you're not just trying to sell. You're actually giving them something. And I'm seeing a lot of really solid response from that. Even people who are writing say, hey, I really had fun with this, and I caught a couple of typos and stuff like that, and just wanted to tell you about them. Like, thanks, that's great. Anyway, so it's something to think about because, whenever you're trying to build a platform like this, you really want to engage with readers, and so giving them something like that is I've been finding it's been great. And they've also said, hey, one person said, I really had fun with this. And one of my friends said, "What are you reading?" Keep laughing. And I told them about it, and they said, "Oh, give me a copy." And they said, "You got to go sign up."
Yeah.
So I ended up getting a subscriber to that. But
That's
anyways,
great.
I thought it was pretty neat.
That's excellent. So just are you going to be these are all free only for newsletter subscribers right now? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
They're not on Amazon for
Nope.
free. Okay. Are you going to make are you going to do that eventually?
I'll probably make the first one free, and then then or maybe like the first two or three or whatever. They're episodic, so they're just 100-page stories. We
Sure,
really are
sure.
just doing it for fun. Is
Yeah.
the point? Or it's like, hey, why don't we write something for fun? And so basically we did that, and it's cool because using the same methodology that Chris and I use, in that we come up with the idea, then I script it out, and
Hash
then
it
she
out.
and I will act it out, and then I write up. Basically, I then hand it over to her, and she takes the script and puts the dialogue tags and the descriptions around it. And then I read through it, do some tweaks. She reads through it, does some tweaks, and then boom, we're done. And also talk to the guy in the UK at Living Audio, who does all of my
The audiobooks.
my audiobooks, and said, hey, it would be kind of fun for us to do this as a radio play. What do you think? And he's like, sounds great. Just tell me what you want to do, and I'll put together all the sounds and stuff, because he's done radio plays for the BBC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Laura Lee will play the female characters, I'll play the male characters, and if there's any additional characters that those guys in the UK can play to have fun with, they can as well. And then he'll put sounds around it and all that, and make it actual radio plays, short little radio
Short
plays for
little
each one.
play. Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Which could be kind of fun. And then
More.
maybe when they're all done, we sell it on Audible as one big bundle.
One big bundle, yeah.
Yeah, so it can be kind of fun. So anyhow,
the radio box series.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I've talked about this before, where it doesn't matter, as it were. We're having fun, and just kind of, hey, I threw this together, I thought it was funny, and what do you think of it? And then we have some laughs and make some tweaks, and then okay, it's in your court now. And then she gets to it. When she gets to it, it's not like high pressure, none of that. And so it doesn't really matter. But people have been coming back and saying, I'm really having fun with this series. It's like, okay, so we'll keep doing it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So anyway, just something to think about if you're trying to figure out how do I gauge my readers some more, and so on. Write a quick little series of something. Doesn't have to be comedy, obviously, unless you write comedy. But write a quick little series of something that you just give out to them once every couple of weeks. And
how long does it take you to write them?
Well, honestly,
beginning to end, yeah.
Yeah, if I really wanted to, I could write 2 a day. I mean, maybe 1 a day.
Well, I mean, but I mean, like from concept to all the process with Laura Lee to the end.
Yeah, well, we sat down for a day and came up with 10 stories, and so we wrote down 10 stories, and so I have them. And then to do the script, an hour, maybe an hour and a half to do the script. And then
really?
Like I said, they're 100-page books. So
but that's still 15,000 words. Is that right?
It's about 10. We're doing
10,000?
under 100. We want to make sure it's under 100. Because here's why. Because, and specifically, we're really targeting like around 75 pages. And the reason why is because we then want to put in the next chapter or two at the end of that book to lead you to the next book at Amazon. But we want these books to all show up in the 100 pages or less categories. Right?
Yeah,
It's part of a strategy for us to do that, right? So we're purposefully, there's a few reasons. We're saying we don't want to invest a lot of time, because writing a big book is like, but we want to have these quick little fun stories, and we want them under that 100-page. We have all these criteria that we set up, and so it also is something where I can say, you know what? Oh God, I got to do this. It's not like that. It's one of those things where I'm doing such and such.
This is fun.
I'm going to do this real quick, and it takes an hour, and I write up a script. And
that's definitely the way you work.
Yeah, and writing up scripts is very, very easy for me, because it's dialogue. I don't have to worry as much about stuff. So I just sit there and go back and forth. There's a lot of one-liners dropping back and forth, and just fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like watching an episode of Will and Grace, where it's like there's really no meat to any of the story. It's just
banter.
That's all it is, banter. Yeah.
You call it the banter mysteries. All right.
Yeah,
good.
So, Anyway, so that's fun. Something
That's
to
a
think about
whole
doing.
that's a whole podcast in and
Yeah,
of
I probably
itself.
should just
Thanks
stop
a
there
lot
and
for
just thanks for
yeah,
joining us.
thanks for
See you next
just
week.
throwing that in there. That's a really it's interesting. It does kind of go into actually I'm gonna take over
Go
because
ahead.
it segues into my I know that was what you're doing this week kind of thing, but so the I'm going to be using Pronoun for my new book. And what Pronoun is they're a publisher, really. I mean, they're a service, but they're, they've just been bought by Macmillan. What they've done in the past is they've been a data company where they ask you to sign up, put your book in our system and we'll track it and we'll let you know when you have a new review and we'll let you know what other categories you might do well in. We'll let you know what your rank is when it changes, or I think it's once a week. Though it seems to come, I don't know, the emails come to me pretty fast and furious from Pronoun. But they give you a whole bunch of information about your book and they kind of track it and let you know how you might improve on it with keywords also. So it's a pretty robust service. It's all free, and Macmillan bought them. And clearly Macmillan bought them because of the data, but Macmillan is saying that they're also going to use it as a kind of a place to find new talent. So they'll be looking for new books on the Pronoun publishing platform as they build this data about authors and how readers interact and how things sell, etc. Smart on Macmillan's part, though I think that I'm not sure Pronoun's really quite ready for prime time. I've had a number of like there have been inaccurate data sometimes, and I've been working with them. Whenever I get inaccurate data, I send them an email, and so I have a pretty good relationship with them right now. And I've decided to use them for my new a new book. And the funny thing is, the reason why I bring it up is, will you please stop yawning?
I didn't yawn.
You were yawning. You were so.
I yawned earlier, but some of us were working until 2 o'clock this morning. But anyway, move along.
I know, going like, where's Ben? When he says he's going to be online, he's never online. So, sorry, I digress. A reason why I segue from what you were talking about to this is that I remember that newsletter I sent out where I accidentally sent out and it promised a free ebook.
Oops.
Yeah, I mean the response was really good. Like people got a free ebook and they appreciated it, and I I got emails back telling me that it was enjoyable. So that. It was overall really good for the list, which hadn't been touched in far too long. And the what came from it was this sense that I really want to get this book out there. It's cool that I want to share it with everybody in the newsletter got it for free. Everybody got it earlier than everybody else. But I am going to release this book that I had written really just for my kid and his cousins. And so it's called The Last Boy, and it's about the last boy on Earth, and he's running around a world that is actually filled with orcs and goblins and giants and trolls and wizards, and so it's very much a Lord of the Rings kind of story, except there's only one human, and it's a story about how he finds out what he is, and where the indications that there might be other humans out there. And it's only about 100 pages. It's one of my middle grade to young adult kinds of series. And I wrote it at a time when I was kind of saying, do I really want to do middle grade anymore? Yeah. But I reread it and I liked it, so I'm going to do it. And what that also transitions into another interesting thing that for the class that I'm teaching, and again, it comes down, the point I'm making here is that reaching out and being a part of the world and not being in our own little worlds all the time is so important. It's so important to get out of the house and go talk to your local librarian, about books or, whatever. Have
I know I do that all the time.
But I'm just saying, like,
as a matter of fact.
Yeah, exactly. What can I say? I got a lot of creative ideas about getting out of the house. I kind of have to.
Honey, what are you doing today? I want to talk to the grocer.
The grocer. He had a Lord of the Rings shirt. Maybe he's into my book. I don't know.
Boy, you're taking sales to the extreme, pal.
Exactly. Got a book right here. You bag this. So But it's important. That's the overall theme here, is that getting out. So I'm teaching this class, and I tell them to do this stuff, right? I tell them, you have to make a marketing plan. The marketing plan consists of all of these things that you have to do to kind of map out who your target audience is and what your brand is and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to go through this with them. I'm going to actually step by step, week by week, as they're going through this, I'm going to do it with them. And I'm going to do it for this book that I wrote that I actually really enjoyed writing. I enjoyed reading it. Everybody who's read it loves it. It's actually my wife's favorite book that I've written. So I'm going to launch it. I'm going to launch it the same day these thesis students are going to have their big thesis show where they show off all their stories, because it's a storytelling master's program.
I sure hope it does well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it bombed horribly. Well, let's just write off the last 6 weeks.
That's the thing. It's the same thing with this. You should be writing. I think that in the author helper's like, I don't care, so I failed. I mean, I put my Twitter stuff up on the screen, right, during the class, and I have not been doing well on Twitter. I haven't been paying much attention to promoting stuff or using Twitter very much at all. Yeah. And so, I don't care. I just threw my Twitter stuff up on screen. They saw all the statistics, all the stuff, how it's doing, what things do well. But I wanted to show them where the successes were. Right. And that's the point. The point isn't that 15 of them had 0%. 15 of my tweets had 0% engagement. It's the 4.7% engagement one that's where I learned something, and that's where they can learn something. And it's the same premise as this podcast. I don't care. I fail all the time.
I want to interrupt you for a second, because that is a very, very good point. And I think that a lot of people out there, they look at those who have uber success and say, okay, I'm going to follow what that person's doing. And then they find out, but I'm not getting the same success that person is getting. There are so many factors that go into success that it's insane. But I think the one commonality that I've found is the willingness, well, there's multiple commonalities, but it's the willingness to put yourself out there. It's the willingness to try things, so tweaking and your ads and all that kind of stuff, and the willingness to fail. You have to be, if you're willing to do that, you'll get somewhere. And, when we have people who contact us and say, man, I got a lot out of that last episode, I got a lot out of this, whatever, right? The point is that, you could look at us and say, well, they're not, at the level of Mark Dawson or a Nick Stevenson or a Stephen King or, okay, that's true, but we do have success. And even if there's small wins here and there, the bottom line is there was a year ago, I'm making $5 a month. Now I'm making thousands a month, right? And it's all because I don't give up. And I keep trying new tweaks and new this and new that and so on. And if I do something and it's an utter failure, I don't look at that and go, oh, I'm just going to give. I don't do that. I look at that. I'm excited when I fail in those instances, because then I go, okay, know what not to do, And I think that having that attitude really helps. So I appreciate what you're saying, where you put this stuff up there. And if any of those students are sitting there and going like this, look at all these fails, why should I listen to this guy? That's precisely why you should listen to this guy, because he's willing to fail in some areas in order to find success. Yeah, that's the trick.
No, and that's where I actually get a lot I get a lot out of it when I share my failures. I actually have, because a lot of times my failures are attached to intricate, elaborate plans that have a lot to do with the creative side of my brain, and also have a lot to do with what I learned from here, and here, from this author and that guru and this, and then I tried it all, and it's a story I get to tell, and then I get to the punchline is it didn't work. Actually, there's a part of me that likes to tell that, because then I think people can relate to that. Certainly the students can. Absolutely. They're like, look, you used all this. It sounds so clever. Wow. Yeah. What? It didn't work. Oh, man. But that moment of aha is like, so I'm going to try again, or this over here succeeded. And the successes sometimes, more often than not, actually are the ones where it's like, well, why did my sales just go up? I didn't do anything, And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, this person tweeted my stuff. Who is she? Oh, she really likes Shirley Link. Oh, she wants to do a review of it. Oh, so somebody who came out of the blue and
Sure.
and caused me to be in the top 5 for the last year on Amazon
Right.
and Teen Mysteries.
And they always say, finding the silver linings and stuff like that. The bottom line is that in every failure, there's some success in there. You just don't necessarily
That's true
know it.
too.
So
That's true too.
for example, like, I've said this one before where I've gotten people who've given me bad reviews or written me bad emails or whatever, and I write back to them kindly. You could look at that as a failure. I failed to get this reader, but I write back to them kindly and I say, hey, thanks for taking the time to check out my work. I appreciate it. And then they share it, and I end up getting fans out of the fact that I was nice to the guy. So, I mean, the idea is that when you fail at something, fail. Okay, I never look at that. To me, it's not a fail. It's something that didn't work and I can learn from. That's the idea. And a lot of times, when for example, an A/B test, ultimately what you're doing there is saying which one is not performing as well as the other one.
Which one's failing?
Is failing. Yeah, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it as one of them succeeding, right?
Yeah.
But you're basically saying this one's not doing as well, and then you keep climbing up the ladder until finally you have something that's really performing. So everything that you do is a learning experience, and to be able to, I don't like it when I see people who only share successes, because to me it's like, okay, I appreciate that, and if I repeat what you did, I may or may not get the same results because I'm in a different genre. I'm a different personality. I have a different reader base, whatever.
Yeah.
So what got you there? I need to understand what got you there so that I can learn from your experience, not just from your successes. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think it's very important.
And that attitude of wanting to learn what the process was, like what the attitude was, not the process, but what the attitude was going into the process. Yep. I think that shows your curiosity, but that also tends to be the thing that causes success, is that attitude. And that doesn't need to always be positive. You and I have both gone through like horrible periods where we're just like, this sucks.
Like this podcast, for example.
What am I exactly every week? Well, you have to do this every week. Yeah, I love it. I miss it. Like, we haven't done it for 2 weeks, and I'm like,
yeah,
geez, missed you. I don't even know why.
No, I can't think of a reason.
Abuse me and belittle me.
That's I missed it. But.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think that's so that's what I'm doing. I'll look for The Last Boy on July 27th, 2016. That's the thesis show day, and you'll hear much more about it. Look in your Facebook feeds.
Yeah, definitely. So is that it for pronouns? How do people get the pronoun?
So. It is pronoun.com. And
is there any fee to sign up, or?
Nope, it's all free. It's we talked about it, I think, like a couple months ago, and you can sign up to get your book tracked, so you can get information and data around the book. Oh, that's right.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and it's the same place. And if you want to publish with it, it's really easy. I mean, they do make it easy, even though their design is kind of wonky.
And just so I understand, you're going to actually publish your book on there?
Yes, they'll put it on Amazon and all the other places. So I'm going to go through them.
So it's like a smash words in that respect.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I think they're going to be treated as an imprint. I'm not sure how Macmillan is actually going to treat them at this point.
How do you make money?
On the sales of I don't think they take anything yet. They will eventually, but I think.
So if you're selling at $2.99, you get a 70% cut on.
I don't know the specifics. I haven't looked into it yet. But I've just decided. Well, the reason why I've decided to use them is that I've enjoyed working with them. Like, they're responsive to when I say. With their tech people and their marketing people.
So customer service again.
Customer service, yeah, exactly, people. But I also like the idea of, for this particular IP, for this particular The Last Boy story, I think could be something. I wouldn't mind it being picked up by a publisher, as long as it was something that could still work within kind of the online independent mindset, which Pronoun is very much tied into. So I'm assuming that whatever Macmillan, if they do pick up IP and they do start scooping up certain titles to publish, I'm assuming that they'll be under Pronoun, and that we'll be able to keep our current deals and not be swept off into stupid contracts, stupid publishing contracts. We'll see. I really don't know. I'm going in a little bit blind, but I think that it's a good story to put out in front of a place like Macmillan. So
Very cool.
Yep.
So I'm actually going to not talk about the Tripwire pages today because we're probably going to be doing
Are we already?
another
Okay.
podcast tomorrow night anyway. So
Yeah.
I will save it for that because I think it'll be good. Plus, I already talked a little bit about, the the writing a short to share with your newsletter subscribers. And
Yeah, that
again,
was very valuable. Are you kidding me?
yeah, I think that's important. But the one thing I do want to talk about really quick here is the bookbub as a target on Facebook ads. This was a brilliant idea. I'm going to give credit out to on the Self-Publishing Formula Mastery group on Facebook to Melissa Pearl. I'm going to butcher this. Melissa
Yes.
Pearl Guyan. It's Guyan. Had brought this to the attention of people saying, hey, I did this and I'm doing pretty good. Well, I figured that's actually a brilliant idea. So you can't get on BookBub, right? You
Yeah.
submit and you submit and you're like,
Yeah.
So I was like, that's actually a brilliant idea. So what I did, I took one of my 10 book bundle ads and which is currently targeting like, US, UK, Terry Pratchett, Neil Gaiman, Douglas Adams, Discworld, Hitchhiker's, I mean, blah, 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 on and on and on, right? And I said, okay, I'm going to take that exact ad to the T, right? I'm going to take that exact ad. The only thing I'm going to change a little bit was down at the other one is just a little headline thing under the picture. I'm just going to say at nearly 70% off buying separately or something like that, right?
Okay.
Because it's BookBub, and so you kind of want to make sure that you focus on the sale because that's the deal, right? So anyway, that's all I targeted though. It's US, UK, BookBub. That's it. And I've set the age range, I want to say from 30 to 64, and that's it. I did nothing else. I didn't say, oh, and also likes this comedy and likes that. I just decided I'm just going to target BookBub straight up, just target BookBub. So it had 11 million range.
Potential, yeah.
No, I'm sorry, 1.1 million. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's a big difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a big difference. But if you have 11 million, you're actually going to I find that my ads do not do as well if they go beyond 1.5 million. So I tend to try to keep them more focused anyway. But I said, you know what? I don't care. I just want to see what happens, right? I mean, again, back to failures and tweaks and stuff like that. So I just want to see what happens. Well, anyway, here's what happened. So it has only been up for 2 days. I have spent a whopping $4.81 because I was doing it as a $5 ad. And now with, I don't know if you know this, but Facebook's new system is set up that today you might spend $2. Tomorrow you might spend $8. If you're spending $5 a day, and that's because they find somehow their calculations, they do things where certain days it looks like you're spending more. Wait, I only have a $5 spend. Why is it $7 today? And you'll look and you'll see yesterday was only $3. And the reason why is because if they see trends, they'll push your ad into that trend. So some days they'll say, we couldn't find any really solid trends, so it's less money today. But we found some solid trends, so we're gonna. But it averages over the course of a week or a month, $5 a day. Is the idea, right? So, at the end of 30 days, for example, you will see that you've only spent $5 a day as a total, so divided by, right? Anyway, so over 2 days, I spent $4.81. I've gotten 14 clicks on the ad, which is at 34 cents a click, right? And I just put this ad up last night, by the way. So I only spent like $1.60 last night or something like that. And I've had 3 sales out of 14 clicks.
That's amazing.
3 sales. Now it's nearly 70% off, so it's a big deal for BookBub people. So it kind of fits their demographic anyway.
Sure.
But at 3 sales, it's roughly $6.50 per sale is what I make. And so I basically made $19.50 for a $4.81 spend.
Amazing.
That's an
Not
amazing
bad.
thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, something to think about. And then when I went to look at targeting BookBub, I noticed that there were other targets there. Free Booksy.
That's what I was going to mention.
All of these other different ones.
Yeah.
They're all in there. And so it's something that you should definitely take a quick peek at. If you have a deal going on, why not?
Yeah,
Give it a shot. you know.
Ride on the coattails of Facebook and BookBub.
Absolutely. And I'm also, I mean, I've resurrected my old newsletter sign up ad, which I will talk about tomorrow night, but I'm going to put it on the BookBub ad too. I'm going to target BookBub and say, get my books free here. And I want to see how many additional people jump to that.
Yeah.
Because when they jump there,
yeah,
they'll see the Tripwire page, which again,
yeah, sure.
I will talk about. But yeah, so there's that.
All right.
Any questions?
No, but I think I'll have some tomorrow for the Tripwire page, and I also want to see how it goes. I think I want to see if this is how big is that audience that you're hitting right now? I mean, I know you answered that 1.1 million, but I want to know how many of those people are going to convert. Is this just one of those things that happens where you get a surge at first and then down to zero? But I'll be interested to see that. I think maybe the only thing I want to clarify is this is all Facebook ads that you've been talking about this whole time, no other kinds of ads, right?
That's correct. This
just
is only
Facebook ads.
Mm-hmm.
And when you said that you said that you only targeted BookBub in the first set, the one that's doing so well. Is that correct?
So I have the exact same ad except for just one that says 70% off because it's BookBub. So you do have to think in terms of that. But other than that, identical.
Okay.
And one of them is targeting a slew of comedic stuff. So Discworld, Hitchhiker's Guide, and so on. And that's the one that's evergreen. That's been running for months. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, right now, that one, for example, is doing 60 cents a click. And you might be like, oh, right. But it also gets me like, 4 sales a day. So, for that ad. And there you go. Not to mention page reads is through the roof. But, then you have the BookBub one, which is only BookBub. So it's US, UK, BookBub. That's it. Yeah. Right. And I'm probably going to expand that actually to be Canada and maybe a few other ones as well. So it's not just US and UK. But I find that whenever I do ads, Canada ads, I barely get any performance on it. So I'm just sticking right now. But
that could be. But I think my sense is that BookBub's international audience is all about. I mean, I think you'll be surprised adding Canada and even Europe. The rest of Europe, other countries in Europe, I would go for.
And the other thing to make sure that people are doing whenever they do these types of things, I know it's kind of a pain in the butt, but you should really set up an affiliate ID for each one of these things. So don't just put them all under one umbrella, because doing that, you don't know which one's doing what. For example, I couldn't have told you if I am using the same for the BookBub 10 book bundle as my other ad 10 book bundle, if I use the exact same affiliate code, how do I know which one's which? I don't, right? So this way I have 2 affiliate codes with it, right? So I can see, what's going on, and so on. So it does help to do that way. I know.
And use the author helper plugin.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that I wanted to point out real quick on ads is that even if an ad does not necessarily sell, people on buying or signing up to your newsletter, what I have found is when I put the newsletter signups back in play, you may not convert every single person that comes in, but what I've found is that my website sales you can see the difference and spike when that ad went up. So it's kind of like the ad. I mean, I've always done pretty well on my website, but you can see literally the date that the newsletter thing went back into play, which was on June 3rd. This is what you see on website sales. I mean, it's like, whoop, it's gone.
And when you say website sales, you mean people going from your website to the sale, converting from your website.
Right. Okay. So you go to my main page and maybe you're like, get my free books, and you're like, maybe I don't want to. And you scroll down and then you see, oh, wow, look at all these other books. Well, let me check this one out. And so you click on that. It opens up the new thing. It has that ID. There you go. And so I have an affiliate code specific for just my website. And if you look at the day that the newsletter sign-up started, it's literally in line. I mean, it's just like, it's humming along pretty well, and all of a sudden that day, like this, and it's just like now it's humming along here. And what I did is I accidentally stopped the newsletter sign up for a day because I thought it was a different thing, and it was stupid anyway. And that day,
Phew.
Yep, and then it went back up again. So just getting people to your site is important, something to think about.
Yeah, well, if it's a good site.
Yeah,
So,
which it is.
Which ours is.
So anyway.
I wonder how that happened.
So anyhow.
Divi,
all right.
Divi, get Divi.
Get Divi. Go to theauthorhelper.com. Hello. Anyway. All right.
Well done.
I think that's it.
Yeah, good promotion.
Yeah.
Good way to end it for today. And I'll see you tomorrow night.
Yeah. All right.
In New York.
You're going to be in New York?
Yep.
Okay, I'm not.
No.
Thank you for joining us on this episode. And remember, you should be writing.